Action.
You know what it is. You back with your man Rafielle, and we hosting Politics and Black Families. We got somebody special right here. You know Bryce Berry, right?
Yes, sir.
What district are you running for?
District 56.
District 56. I see your signs all through the city.
Big bright blue signs.
Yeah, I see. Every time I turn the corner, I see your sign, and we know some good people together that recommended you come on the show. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. I'm so excited for the conversation. So
Indeed. So look, we're gonna get right into it. First and foremost, I'm reading that you led one of the biggest black caucuses from 2021 to 2024.
I did. So I was actually the chair of the largest caucus in the Democratic Party of Georgia. I was the president of Young Democrats of Georgia.
Wow.
And Young Democrats of Georgia, we are the largest auxiliary organization, affiliate organization of the Democratic Party of Georgia, having over 25 chapters statewide, over 50 college chapters and 50 high school chapters statewide. And having managed that through 2022 elections when we re-elected Senator Warnock, and then we had a historic convention, we raised over $80,000, which is the most any Young Democrat chapter in the nation has ever raised.
Yeah.
Doubled our membership statewide. It was such an honor to work with such incredible organizers. So I can't take credit for everything. I had a great team behind me.
Yeah.
And I was very.
What
honored.
does that look like to run such a large organization and the grassroots work you have to do? What does that look like?
You have to have the kind of heart and passion for it. You have to have this love of politics.
Yeah.
And be following the day-to-day stuff from legislative assembly to what's going on in Washington as well. Just make sure we're monitoring quite literally everything and talking to young folks about why Democratic Party was best representing their needs. But also, it's like also kind of a counterpoint. You also the message to the Democratic Party. You're trying to push the Democratic Party to the left. We're an auxiliary organization. We are under the Democratic Party of Georgia, but we aren't the Democratic Party of Georgia.
Understood.
And so we had the opportunity to push the Democratic Party to the left on several things, from Green New Deal to the training facility that they're building here. We pushed the Democratic Party, or attempted to push the Democratic Party to the left on several issues.
Yeah, you mentioned something interesting. You said love for politics. Mm-hmm. What developed your love for politics? What got you into politics?
You know, as a black man, politics are all around you.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. And so it's whether you get invested into it or fully, or you just desensitize from it. And if we desensitize ourselves from it, if we aren't involved in the process, who's going to be involved in the process? Someone that does not look like us.
Yeah.
And so I was at a young age, and actually, so when I was 13 years old, I don't know if you remember the Ferguson uprisings when Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson by shot.
You was 13?
I was 13.
Oh my God.
And Michael,
Ralph, you old.
It's been 10 years, so that's like crazy to me. Yeah. But I was 13 years old when Michael Brown was killed, and it was actually right down the street from me. He was my neighbor, and that kind of lit that spark in me. That moment, I remember that day so vividly. The folks that were in the street, the days, the hours that we were just out there just waiting for some answers. But I remember what happened afterwards as well. I remember the riots, I remember the protests, of course, but I also remember us building a community healthcare center and securing massive investment into our local schools and electing the first black mayor of Ferguson. Mm-hmm. I am very proud of what we did in Ferguson, but that's what kind of sparked my interest in this. Like, Ferguson, it took, unfortunately, Michael Brown getting killed for me to realize what my community was lacking.
Right.
And I stepped up and started organizing then. And I organized gun violence prevention, education reform, and so many other things. And as I said, it's unfortunate it took a young brother just 5 years older than me. He should have been 28 this year, just 5 years older than me, to getting killed.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. How big does education play a part in things like Mike Brown's situation, right? Like, and from you just being honest with me, what do you think could have happened differently if, just how does education play a part in that situation of violence in the community and relationship with law enforcement? Like, how does it all?
Well, we have to start using education as a pathway to a more safer, prosperous community, and that comes with investing in things like after-school programs. That we all know overwhelmingly when kids are in school, they are safe, and if we invest in after-school programs, like we have Promise Center at my school, that keeps kids off the streets and active and doing something. That's what keeps them safe. So education plays a big role, and when we defund those kind of programs and those kind of activities for our students, we're sending them off to the streets that are sometimes very dangerous.
Yeah.
And so education can be a pathway to a better community.
Yeah.
And so it just comes with greater investment and understanding what our students need and meeting our kids at the social emotional level that they need, that we're not currently doing.
Do you think that we have made progress since Mike Brown? And if we have, what kind of progress? And if we haven't, where are we seeing deficits?
So we're talking progress with education or
Progress,
with criminal justice reform?
A little bit of both, actually.
Okay.
Has education improved and how the community improved as far as with criminal justice?
Education has improved. We have now massive investments and historic investments in education, but you have to understand that we're still trying to catch up to the 8 ball. It's been so historically underfunded that we're so far behind that we can't even tout, oh, we have historic investments. That's good, but you're still 30 years behind what you should be doing. In criminal justice reform, we know obviously there's something that we haven't even touched the surface of what we need to do in terms of community policing.
So we have deficits there.
Deficits there.
Yeah.
We know there has not been a federal bill passed since some modest state things passed. We haven't touched the surface though. We do not have true community policing yet.
Yeah.
And
what does that look like, true community policing? Because and I say that as just pushing back, right? Where you see crime, right? Or in a city like Atlanta where you see things happening in Buckhead that's concerning, right? And especially for, let's say, wealthier residents, right? That's happening in right on the main street, and you see things like these car break-ins, and you see things like these shootouts at Lenox, right? Then you expect these police to go out here, and these are different situations where kids are, this is not your kid walking through the neighborhood, right? This is somebody who may not even be from Georgia coming down here with guns and stuff. So what does that look like, community policing, and how do you, I don't know how you gentle police. As a kid from the inner city, I don't know. How do you do that?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm the same way. You don't know how. But it starts now. We, again, like education, was so behind the 8 ball that even the reforms we've made now, the city of Atlanta has now mandated body cams and so much more. And you see, actually, like, we have police program in my school where the kids can interact with police officers. You see things
That's good.
It is.
That's better.
And you see things like that where it's tangible and it looks good. However, we're still 30 years behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
And so it starts now. And I really don't know how we can get to true policing because we're so behind. But if you
could start in the school system, like you said, where you actually start teaching children how to interact with law enforcement in a healthy way.
Absolutely.
And not where, because it got to be across the board, right? So don't just teach children, black families how to deal with police, but across the board, because not just black families deal with it, right?
Absolutely.
Ultimately.
And it should be for every student. I think every school needs to have some sort of police to student program that teaches first of all, it's just good for police officers to know who their students are, know who they're serving.
Yeah.
That's just good. It's good to know, like, oh, that's officer blank blank.
Yeah.
No matter if you're black, Latino, white, every student needs that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's, as I said, it starts with the current generation. If we actually make the reforms needed this generation coming forward, might not have to deal with the same issues that we've been dealing with. Hopefully.
Indeed.
We can say that, hopefully.
Yeah. We're hopeful for it.
We're hopeful for a society where my students don't have to worry about interactions like that.
I get you. So stay with me in education. Something that's happening in Georgia right now that's very important is this voucher, right? You just can't escape it. Everywhere you look, right? I see you speaking, you've been very vocal against the voucher program.
Absolutely.
So I hear that. Just tell me, why are you against it? What are we dealing with?
So what this voucher bill does is it provides, let's just tell the viewers what it does first.
Just your camera right there.
This my camera.
Yeah.
So this voucher bill provides $6,500 for families to send their kids off to a private school. Now, the issue with that is it does not go all the way. The average private school tuition is about $20,000 in the state of Georgia. So you're asking families to cover about $14,000 plus in some schools of the cost. And there's no limits. Private schools can still discriminate about who they take and who they don't. So you have a lot of kids that are just left in limbo where they're going to go to school. And moreover, there are some counties in the state that don't even have a private school for counties away. There are counties down in rural Georgia where the public school is still like 30 miles away, and that's the only option that those families have. If they want to go to a private school, they would literally have to travel miles upon miles away.
Yeah.
And so this bill is basically incentivizing private school, making it cheaper for white families while hurting at the expense of black families.
Right.
Private schools, we know, have had discriminatory practices against black students. When Brown versus Board Education was decided, that's when you saw a lot of these private schools and country day school movement start up.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be a flea for white students to go have some safe harbors from the black students that were preparing to integrate their schools. And this is continuing to go on. Now we're incentivizing private school for white students. We're going to say okay, student, here you go, here's $500, go to private school. That money that is currently in that public school goes to that student. So there's some Republicans that would say we're not defunding public schools. If they're
Hold on. I'm going to stick with you. You're saying Brown versus the Board of Education is where this comes from.
It
started there. It's made it all the way up to current day, to where it's considered school choice now, or whatever they consider it.
And I don't think we're not anti-school choice.
Right.
I think parents should have the choice to send their kids off to private school, but it should not come at the expense of the taxpayer. It is called a private school for a reason. It is private.
Yeah.
Why are we spending public funds
Do
for
you think
private schools?
Do you think public schools have failed parents' expectations of educating their children, and they're concerned?
I don't think we've ever given our public schools a fighting chance. We have, as I said, we're behind the eight ball. I'm gonna keep saying this. We're behind the eight ball on so many things, and public education is one of the main things we're behind the eight ball on. We have never given our public schools a fighting chance to even try to thrive, because they have been underfunded, especially public schools in black and brown communities. They've never even had a chance to try to thrive because of policies like vouchers and policies like redlining and so much more that has hurt our students. And so when we actually fully fund our public schools, we can see the tangible results that public schools will provide.
Yeah.
And it's not to say public schools cannot provide tangible results. There are so many positive examples out there. I think public schools are getting so demonized right now because there's so many positive examples out there of public school products that are doing great things in society. So we cannot cast it out on this is all public schools.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
We've never given them a fighting chance to thrive and to even try to succeed.
So before, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Well done. Before we arrived here today, me and my wife were talking in the car, and we were trying to consider what we do with my son. He's going to the 3rd grade, right? So he's in private school now, right? And my wife's biggest concern is that with AI and all of these new tools, what jobs will be there for my son, or what companies, or what does the job market or entrepreneur market even look like for a child with this AI? How are these public schools adjusting, or private schools adjusting, right? Because though he goes to a private school, we have some concerns there. Love it, but we have some concerns, right?
Yeah, cool.
And so how do we prepare children to go into the world with this thing called artificial intelligence and machine learning and all of these things? What does that look like? What is education 2.0, 3.0, and we behind an 8 ball?
Yes.
What does this look like?
So I actually use AI in my classroom.
That's ill.
It should be a good blend because AI is so new. And we know that AI is...
Could you say that one more time and look at her and say that? Go ahead.
AI is so new, and it has to be a good blend. You know, we have to start using AI, but also we do know we need regulation of AI. We need a regulation, and I want to work with that at a state level when I'm elected. But it has to be a good blend. We had to start training kids in AI. We have to starts now. Start teaching kids how to use AI and different functions of it in a safe way. You know, we use AI with Canva. So when we make presentations, they use AI with Canva. That's just a quick and easy way to teach them how to start using artificial intelligence so that when they get down the line and start looking for careers, they aren't behind the 8 ball. They know how to use these products and use AI and use this technology of the future. We have to train our students for the future.
Yeah,
That's
indeed.
the whole premise.
That's a good campaign tagline right there. Train them for the future.
Train them for the future. Going back to the public schools, like giving them a chance to succeed includes making sure that we are training our kids for the future.
Yeah.
Notice I'm not saying college preparedness.
Yeah.
Because not every kid is going to go to college, and we have to be honest with that. Not every kid is going to go to college.
How important is that current day to you, or if you were talking to a black family and they were in between, what would you say about the child, to the child that's in between going to school and not going to school or college?
I think there are several options out there for our students right now that are not college. College is not for everyone. I had a good friend
Yeah.
who dropped out of college.
Yeah.
And not because she was low or anything. College just wasn't right for her. It wasn't the right fit for her. She wasn't adjusting well in college. She wasn't adjusting well in that kind of environment. And so she left and started her own business.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what a lot of kids might all end up in. So that's why we train our kids for the future.
Yeah.
Start training them for things like workforce development and college and military and so many things that our kids can become wholly rounded to take on any challenge that they have in the future.
So what? Thank you for sharing that again. So what? This bill is headed to the governor's desk. He signs the bill. It goes into play.
Yeah.
You win the election. What does that look like?
Well,
if you won the election.
When I win the election. When I win the election, we're not going to win. When I win the election, though, one of the first things I do will be to introduce a bill that would repeal this bill. And I think that's what should be the aim of every Democrat. We should be working to repeal this bill and use that money to invest. You know, there's a $3 billion education surplus.
Yeah.
That's $3 billion that's
not being used.
That's not being used. Such as sitting in the account.
How do you use that kind of money? What would you do with the money?
Pay teachers more.
They're doing that right now, right?
How long do you have? So the first thing I would do, we gotta pay teachers more.
Yeah.
When we pay teachers more, they're more likely to sit in the classroom. Our students feel a lot better about themselves. Students already, the social, emotional, and mental needs of our students are not taken care of right now. And it's not helping when teachers are leaving. Teachers, for some students, especially some of my students, are the only kind of stability that they have and they need. But teachers are leaving and they're citing teacher pay. So if we pay teachers more, we can help our students and help our families that build good relationships with our students as well, and help our teachers, of course.
Right. So how important is, because I don't want to get caught up on time, but how important is mental health services within the education space?
Oh, it's so important. And another big thing I want to do with education is fix our school counselor to student gap. So right now in Georgia, for about every 450 students, there's one school counselor. That is overwhelming, not just our students, but our counselors as well. We do not have the adequate enough mental health professionals in the state to work in our schools. Yeah. And so I would like to pass a tax credit for folks that want to be a counselor and help them stay in the state of Georgia, keep them retained in the state of Georgia. I want to make sure we're training folks using Morehouse School of Medicine and UJ's new medical school that they'll be building soon to train folks on mental health and specifically the mental health needs of our students, psychology needs of our students, so that we can keep them in Georgia and fix this serious problem. Our students are calling on us to help them. They are crying out for help. We've talked about several things our students need and the several gaps and deficits our students have. School counselors could be a big help. You know, they deal with mental health. They deal with career. They mitigate a lot of social issues and just issues in this classroom. Like my counselor, she's amazing. She pulls out a lot of students that just have beef with each other, and
talk you through it and walk you through it and get
you through it and talk you through it in ways that I cannot do it because I have 25 other students to manage. She helps me out by pulling those students out and just talking them down. That's what we need counselors for. And so this wide gap that we have, 1 to 450. It is not supposed to be like that, and we need to be retaining and preparing and training school counselors in our state.
Thank you for sharing that as well. I'm gonna run a few questions by you. And then we're going to take it to the live stream, and then I'm going to have you look at that camera and you let them know why they should vote for you, right? So I got a few parents we talk about, and this is a very diverse group of parents that we sit with. We have like a group chat that maybe has like 75 parents on it, right? One thing that comes up is this gender identity. Now, it's beyond my comprehension, I'm be honest. As I don't really know too much what's happening there, but it's an issue that always comes up with parents. How should parents feel or look at it or be educated on it? What's happening there in this space, especially in Georgia?
So I'll say this. Republicans, for some reason, have a very, very weird obsession with transgender youth in our state. they have done so much to attack transgender youth. Right now, they're trying to forge a bathroom bill for our schools, and so much more. This is the weird obsession they have. It is taking away the autonomy from our parents. It's taking away who just have a sole goal of loving and caring and protecting their children.
Yeah.
If the state's now coming in saying, well, your child can't get the medical service they need, or your child can't use this bathroom, how are you supposed to parent when the state is providing laws that says that your child can't do what they need to do?
Yeah.
It's such a weird obsession. And when I talk to parents, I say this, your child is growing up in a different society than you grew up in. And the best thing to do is just keep on with that same mission that you had became pregnant with.
Yeah, I guess the concern that comes up a lot is like the curriculum in schools and things like this. Now, my son's school, I haven't ran into things like that, and most times it's from the women, right? It's interesting. It's not like my dad's group. My dad's group is talking about how much that this guy is in sports, but the women are very like.
None of our schools are indoctrinating our kids.
Yeah.
Teaching this gender identity, as the Republicans like to bake the boogeyman. No school in the state of Georgia is doing that. Sex ed is offered for high school and upper middle school classes.
Yeah.
We're not teaching children, obviously, about sex ed.
So this is something this is propaganda stuff
This is propaganda that they're just using to create fear and hysteria amongst the people. It's not happening. It's not happening.
So let me ask you this question. I'm gonna do a little rapid fire.
Okay,
right? So, where do you stand at as with teacher unions? Good or bad?
Good. I'm a proud member of teacher union.
Great. So unions are good for Georgia.
Unions are great for Georgia. We need more unions. And the governor's attempts to gut unions and gut worker rights is wrong. And I'm going to fight back against that too.
Okay. Where do you stand at with this police center that's being built? Good or bad?
I am personally against Cop City. I do not want it. I do not think the mayor has been. I do not mayor. Do not think this right for the city right now.
Yeah.
I think there's other reforms we can do. I've questioned other avenues of police reform.
Yeah. Now we're going to go a little further. Where's your immigration? How do you feel about immigration? Is immigration something that black families should be concerned about, or is it something that they are hyping up to get you?
Hyping up. It's not. It's again not an issue. Immigration. Georgia's not a border state, and it has. I don't know why we're even debating the issue of immigration in our state house. Our borders are South Carolina, Alabama, Florida, and Tennessee.
Yeah. But they're like bills they're trying to get through right now, right?
They would stop the migrants and so much. Like our borders are Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Alabama.
Yeah.
Where is Mexico in that equation? It's not.
Black folks, are they better under Trump administration, Joe Biden administration?
Biden.
Easy. Tell me why Biden. You can give me 3 reasons why black families would thrive under Joe Biden.
Wages are up, job creation is up, healthcare is up. Never been many folks enrolled in healthcare as they are now. Insurance is going down, premiums are going down, and they're staying down for 2025 because of the bill they passed. Jobs are being created, jobs are flowing into our communities. We have never had an investment as we have had from President Joe Biden.
Yeah. Why are so many young, not young, but black voters, I read an article, Joe Biden's losing black voters to Trump. Is that true? Is that not true? What do you see happening on the ground?
I do not think that Donald Trump's going to win black voters. Joe Biden he does have a problem with young folks. Young folks obviously are taking issue with the war in Gaza. And I believe that President Biden is going to be addressing that more often, addressing the concerns. And hopefully that he starts addressing it in a more positive way, in a more compassionate, empathetic way. But young folks, I believe, are going to turn out for President Biden overwhelmingly. We will not risk a second Trump presidency. I got you.
So we're going to go to the live stream. Brent, you ready for us?
I think your phone went out.
Did it go out?
I think it just died.
Oh, man, a live stream went down. So Brent probably would have asked you because he is very vocal about healthcare, right? So what should black families be looking at currently happening at the state level with healthcare?
So what you should look at is the Georgia Senate Republicans.
Right there.
The Georgia Senate Republicans just killed a last-ditch measure to expand Medicaid. We know that expanding Medicaid would create jobs, will provide over 400,000 Georgians with health care, build new hospitals and community health care centers, and Georgia Senate Republicans just killed that bill that would have expanded Medicaid. House Republicans won't even bring it up. The governor won't even talk about it. It's like a cuss word to the governor.
Why is that? What's the issue?
It's quite clear. The governor has given up on families. The governor Kemp is no moderate. He is, I don't know where this whole...
I think he said he stood up to Trump during that time. Is that where it came from? Where
yes,
he got pushed from the far right to...
And we have forgotten about his archaic abortion ban bill, SB 202, the trans youth bill that he passed, now SB 233. He is no moderate. He is as far right MAGA as they come.
Is he?
He is. He embodies the ideas of MAGA, which is taking away freedoms and rights and individual freedoms.
So what about when people are celebrating him for the $14 billion surplus that Georgia has for
surplus is
the economy during COVID, these things? I'm be honest, I know a lot of people who like speak, who actually told me a lot of that Kemp did that I was like, really? And it was like, no, he's like killing it. Is that true? Is it, or he like killing it another way, like killing bills?
Let me tell you who's responsible for the surplus. President Joe Biden is responsible for our surplus. That is federal funds that is coming to Georgia that Governor Kemp is now refusing to spend. We have infrastructure funds, American Rescue Plan funds, what's not Build Back Better Act. What?
The infrastructure bill?
Not the infrastructure bill. Anyway, this is the other one. But those funds are coming to Georgia that the governor is refusing to spend. The governor just turned down money from the federal government that would feed our kids in the summertime.
Oh, wow.
That $14 billion surplus is product because of President Joe Biden, but it's also product because the governor is not using it for its intended purposes.
So how would you work across the aisle? How do you work with the state house that's controlled by Republicans? How do you work across?
Well, you know, the majority of things that are done in the state house are on a bipartisan basis anyway. So I would just want to say that first. We'll cut through the noise. The majority of things that happen in the state house are bipartisan. And Republicans respond very well if you just present the data about things. And like for example, when I worked for a state representative last session, we had a bill on school transportation, Democratic bill that got a committee hearing because we just presented them with data and facts about how it would help. And Chairman LaHood at the time was like, well, I can't refute this, so I'll give it a hearing. So when you present Republicans with clear facts and data, they will respond in a positive way. And so what I don't think I want to do is let's we'll have budget. Let's have a conference committee, a study committee to talk about how we can use this money.
Yeah.
This money should not be sitting in the pot. That's not good. It's not good in the long term for us.
You just educated me on that. They holding money, and I mean I know a lot of people in Georgia that can use that money, whether it's for small businesses or daycare services or.
So let's come together in a conference committee in a bipartisan manner and discuss ways we can spend this money.
Right.
Universal pre-K is one thing that comes to the top of my mind.
Right.
That's something that's going to help every single family, and especially help rural families in the state of Georgia that don't have any preschools. Don't have any preschools.
Yeah.
Let's talk about expanding Medicaid or building new community health. If you don't expand Medicaid, let's talk about community health care centers.
Yeah.
You know, we can all agree that we need more clinics. We need more hospitals. Let's use some of this money to build some.
Indeed.
Let's talk about paying teachers more.
Yeah.
Fixing school counselor gap.
Yeah.
I think we can come together on a bipartisan basis, sit down and just come up with good solutions to spend this money. $14 million in the pot is not good.
I get you.
And it's time for the Republicans and Governor Kemp to use the money for what it's intended to be used for.
Thank you for being so vocal and educating us and very ambitious. I'm going to throw some random things at you that has nothing to do with politics, more like culture and things like that. So I'm going to be fair with you because you're 23. So let's see. You could just tell me, you could just pick one, right? So Beyonce, Whitney Houston.
So you're gonna get me in trouble with my friends. I'm the king of the Beehive. Like
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
The king. But Whitney Houston has an undeniable voice.
Rihanna, Nicki Minaj.
Whitney Houston.
Rihanna, Nicki Minaj.
Rihanna. I don't know what Nicki's doing right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, don't worry now. Come, Nicki got a little crew too now.
I'm sorry. No, Pink Friday 2 was
trash.
Man, it was man.
Oh,
So
okay. It wasn't good. Wow.
It was not good.
Ralph, what you say about that? Pink, now you got to play your Pink Friday. I know you now.
Were you at the concert last night?
Yeah, he was
Okay.
there. Yeah. So let me ask you, New York, LA.
I've only been in New York, so I will say New York, but I want to come to LA soon.
Yeezys or Jordans?
Jordans, you see, Jordans. I do have Yeezys
What
though.
about Kanye versus Drake?
Kanye versus Drake.
Woo!
Lyrically, Kanye is better. Musically though, Drake has the better music.
Kendrick versus J. Cole.
Kendrick.
And what is your favorite classic hip hop album and your favorite classic soul album?
Favorite classic hip hop album. My favorite hip hop album of all time is To Pimp a Butterfly.
Oh.
I will always love To Pimp a Butterfly.
What I tell you, Ralph? I told you he got. I say Kendrick got one with that. Go ahead.
That's rap gold. That's
Yeah.
rap gold.
Yeah.
Favorite soul album. I'm a Stevie Wonder fan.
He must have looked up this show and know what's just going on. Come on. Yeah.
Songs in the Key of Life.
Yeah.
Is the greatest album that God has ever put on this earth.
You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna hold you this. When I asked ChatGPT to write a song better than Stevie Wonder,
They can't do it.
It said it can't. It said it's impossible for me to. He said Stevie Wonder is a musical prodigy, and I cannot perform and make a song up anything like that. That's what the AI told me.
My girlfriend for Valentine's Day got me the Songs of Key and Life record.
Yeah.
It was probably the best gift I've gotten.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. One last one. Black family, Thanksgiving. What are you cooking? The greens or the mac?
I cook everything. So
No, but you got to pick one. What's your specialty? Greens or mac?
I cook it both. See, I come from a family. My mom does not cook. Okay.
Okay.
My mom every Sunday for dinner we used to have the same thing: chicken breasts and oven roasted chicken breasts and rice for like the first 16 years of my life. And then she realized that Bryce can cook. Let me my grandmother, my dad taught me how to cook, and so when I started cooking, I started actually professional.
So we know we going for Thanksgiving, right? Where you live? You got us for the invite, right?
I'm right down the street. You know
Okay,
where I am.
say less,
Right down
say
the
less,
street.
say
I
less,
cook.
say-
I'm a chef of the friend group, chef of the family. So every Thanksgiving I cook quite literally the turkey, the mac and
Yeah.
cheese, everything.
Okay,
Everything
say
mine.
less, say less. So let me ask you this, and we're gonna wrap it up. And then after that, I need you to look at that camera and let the people know why they should vote for you. So Atlanta has went through some changes, new people, a lot of flow. What would you tell a person 30 days new to Atlanta? They just got here. They are completely consumed with everything going on. You've been here. What would you tell them about Atlanta? Give them.
Atlanta's the greatest city on earth.
Say less.
It is the greatest city on earth. We
Say less.
ride for the A.
Let's clap that up one time. Let's clap that up, man. Let's clap that up.
We ride for the A,
Yeah.
and I just do what I did. I just took time to just explore. When I finally brought my car down here, Morehouse didn't let you have cars freshman year,
Yeah.
and then we were going sophomore year. So when I brought my car down junior year, I took the time to just explore. I went across Emmett Park, and luckily when I worked for the Biden campaign in 2020, I went all around Georgia in a U-Haul van. And that's fun. But just seeing the parts of Georgia and exploring the city, I fell in love with the city.
Yeah.
So we ride for the A.
Yeah,
and it's the
indeed.
greatest city on earth.
Indeed. There you go. Let them know why they should vote for Bryce Berry, District 56.
Look, I'll tell you first why I'm running. So on the first day of school, I had a student that asked me to bring him home from school that day. Did it. And what I realized though is that the student was asking me to bring him home because the student was homeless. And that's when I decided to run for this seat. We all know I'm running. I'm running against Misha Mader, the one who switched parties back in July over that same very voucher bill. But that's not why I'm running. Look, you can do what you want, be whatever party you want. If you're happy with the Republican Party, go be happy with the Republican Party. But what happens is that you left my community behind. And so I'm running for that very student. For a student that is homeless, student that doesn't have food on the table, student whose parents working 3-4 jobs just to make ends meet. We have leaders that do not see our students, our families, our communities, either because they say they were too poor, black, brown. We know overwhelmingly our leaders have left us behind. And I believe in the politics of we don't have to leave folks behind. We can bring folks together and bring folks into the process. I believe in the politics of we don't have to keep selling our people out. We can continually invest and see folks for the value that they bring. Representation that leaves us behind, with me, we're turning representation that moves us forward. My name is Bryce Berry. Look, I'm running to be the first active teacher in our state house, one of the youngest people I've looked in the state of Georgia. I need your help. We can do better. I've talked about so much things tonight, from healthcare to education to
Criminal reform.
criminal justice reform,
Yeah.
affordable housing, that our state has missed the ball on for far too long. We need leaders that see us, that not only see us, but invest in us. It's not anything to just say, I see you, I hear you, but to back up with your words and with your sight, with action. And that's what I do. That's what I'm planning on doing.
Yeah.
Doing better, doing justice.
There you have it right there. That's my man, Bryce Berry, District 56. Y'all know where to find us. This was Politics in Black Families. Thank you for joining us again. My name is Rafielle. This is Politics in Black Families. This is my man, Bryce Berry, District 56. We're going to keep it going, keep it flowing. Peace.